This $1 bag trick will make any showerhead run like brand new again. No tools, no scrubbing, no plumber, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why no plumber will ever be the one to tell you about it. But first, I want you to picture something and be honest with yourself about whether this is your bathroom. You step into the shower, you turn the handle, and the water comes out wrong. Half the jets are firing off sideways. One thin stream is shooting past your shoulder and hitting the glass. The pressure feels weaker than it used to, and you cannot remember exactly when that happened because it crept up on you a little at a time, month after month. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you have already started telling yourself a story. The story goes, the water pressure in this house is getting bad, or the shower head is worn out, I should replace it. So maybe you have even stood in the hardware store aisle looking at the new ones. $40, $60, $80 for the one that says high pressure on the box, as if the head itself could manufacture pressure out of thin air. Here is the truth, and it is going to save you all of that money. Your water pressure is almost certainly fine. Your shower head is almost certainly fine. What you have is a thin crust of stone, built up grain by grain inside those little nozzles, and tonight, for about $1 of plain white vinegar in a sandwich bag, you are going to dissolve it completely while you sleep. In the morning, that shower head will spray the way it did the day it was installed. I am not exaggerating, and I am not selling you anything. This is simply how it is done. My name is Kenji Sato. Most people call me Ken. I spent 25 years cleaning professionally, first in my parents' commercial cleaning company where I started at 17, and then 10 years as head of housekeeping at a luxury hotel. And I want you to think about what a hotel actually is for a moment. A hotel is hundreds of showers, running many times a day, every day of the year, in the same hard water as everybody else in town. Guests will forgive a lot of things, but a weak spitting shower in a room that costs $400 a night is not one of them. So ask yourself, how often do you think we replace shower heads in that building? Almost never. In 10 years, I could count the replacements on my fingers, and those were physical damage, not performance. What we did instead was soak them, on a schedule, in the cheapest chemical in the entire supply room. My grandmother, who taught me to clean long before the hotel did, used the same thing on her kettle and her taps her whole life. It was never a secret. It was just never advertised, and later in this video, I will walk you through exactly why. I will also tell you the one thing about this method that most people get wrong. The reason some folks try the vinegar trick, shrug, and say it did not work for them. It is not the vinegar that failed. It is one simple detail, and I will give it to you. Stay with me. First, let us understand what is actually choking your shower head, because when you understand the dirt, the cure becomes obvious. Most homes in this country have what is called hard water. That means the water coming through your pipes is carrying dissolved minerals, mostly calcium and magnesium, picked up from the rock the water passed through before it ever reached your street. You cannot see them, you cannot taste much of them, and dissolved in the water they are completely harmless. The problem starts when the water evaporates or heats up. The water leaves, the minerals stay. And they stay as a solid, a chalky white deposit called limescale, which is, in plain language, stone, the same substance as the rock it came from. Look at the face of your shower head right now and you will probably see it, a white or gray crust around the nozzles, maybe some crusty rings around the edge. Now understand that whatever you can see on the outside, there is more of it on the inside, lining the channels, narrowing every one of those little openings the way a bad diet narrows an artery. That is why your jets fire sideways. The opening is no longer round, so the water squeezes through whatever crooked gap is left and sprays wherever that gap points it. That is why the pressure feels weak. The pressure in the pipe is the same as it ever was, but it is trying to get through openings half the size they used to be. And on top of the stone, there is usually a bit of general gunk, soap residue, and grime, holding it all together. No amount of wiping the outside will fix this, because the problem is inside the head. But there is one thing that stone cannot survive, and it costs about $3 a gallon. Here is the method complete exactly as I would show a new member of my hotel team. You need three things: a plastic bag, a sandwich bag, or a freezer bag, whatever you have in the kitchen drawer. A bottle of plain distilled white vinegar, the cheap one, the big plain jug, not the fancy cleaning vinegar with fragrance added, not apple cider vinegar, just plain white. And a rubber band, or a hair tie, or a piece of string, anything that can hold the bag in place. That is the entire equipment list. Now, fill the bag somewhere between a third and half full with the vinegar. Reach up and ease the bag over your shower head so the head is fully submerged in the vinegar, every nozzle under the surface. If you lift the bag and the vinegar level does not cover the face of the head, add a little more. Then wrap your rubber band around the neck of the bag and the shower arm snug enough that the bag hangs there on its own with no help from you. Give it a gentle tug to make sure it will not slip. And now comes the entire secret of the method. You walk away. That is it. That is the whole job. No unscrewing anything, no plumber's tape, no scrubbing, no chemicals with warning labels, nothing you cannot buy at any grocery store on the lowest shelf. While you are off living your life, the acid in that vinegar is doing something quite beautiful. It is dissolving the stone. Acidic acid reacts with calcium carbonate and converts it back into a form that dissolves in liquid, and the crust that built up over 2 years starts letting go, grain by grain, exactly the way it arrived. If the bag is clear, look closely after an hour and you will actually see it happening, little white flakes coming loose and drifting down into the vinegar, and a fine stream of tiny bubbles rising off the metal. That fizz is the sound of your money coming back. Now the part most people get wrong, The difference between this trick works like magic and this trick did not work for me. It is time. People hang the bag, come back 20 minutes later, rinse it, see a small improvement, and decide the method is weak. The method is not weak. 20 minutes is weak. Dissolving stone is not instant, and the acid in vinegar is mild, which is exactly why it is safe enough to keep next to your food. So here's your honest schedule. For a shower head with light buildup, soak it for at least 2 hours. For one with a visible crust, make it 4. And for a head that has never once been cleaned in its life, the one spraying in 5 directions, do it overnight. Hang the bag before bed, take it off with your morning coffee. Nothing bad happens from the longer soak on an ordinary chrome or plastic head. The vinegar simply finishes the job all the way down inside the channels where you can never reach with any brush. If you learned about dwell time from my stovetop video, this is the same law of cleaning wearing a different outfit. Chemistry works on a clock, not on your elbow. The professionals know it, which is why professionals seem to clean without effort. They are not stronger than you. They are more patient than you by about 3 hours. One more small trick from the hotel, if you want to speed things along. Warm the vinegar first. Not boiling, never boiling, just warm it gently in a pot until it is comfortably hot to a careful finger, then pour it into the bag. Warm acid works noticeably faster than cold, and you can cut the soak time roughly in half. When the soak is done, pull the bag off and pour the vinegar down the drain where, as a parting gift, it will freshen that too. Now turn the shower on hot and let it run for a minute or two. This flushes all the loosened mineral out from inside the head, and you may see little white specks shooting out with the water. That is the last of the stone leaving. If your shower head has rubber nozzles, most modern ones do, rub your thumb firmly across them while the water runs, and you will feel the last soft grit crumble away. If a stubborn speck is still sitting in a nozzle, an old toothbrush or even a toothpick clears it in a second. And then stand back and turn it on properly. Every jet, straight, even, and strong. The pressure you thought your house had lost, back, because it was never lost. It was just standing behind a wall of stone. Now I have to be honest with you about the limits of this because I will not tell you a thing that is not true. First, if your shower head has a fancy finish, oil rubbed bronze, brushed nickel, gold plating, anything expensive and decorative, do not leave it soaking overnight. Long acid soaks can dull delicate plated finishes. For those, do shorter soaks, an hour at a time, and check it. Ordinary chrome and plastic heads, which is what most of us have, are not bothered at all. Second, if your shower head drips from the joint where it meets the pipe, vinegar will not fix that because that is not scale. That is a worn rubber washer, a 50-cent part, and I will show you that job another day. And third, if you soak a head properly and the flow is still poor throughout the whole house, taps included, then the problem may genuinely be your plumbing or your pressure, and that is a real plumber's job. But I will tell you plainly, in 10 years of running a building with hundreds of showers, 95 times out of 100, the vinegar was the whole cure. Which brings me to the question I promised to answer. Why does nobody tell you this? Your plumber is not a villain. Most of them are honest tradespeople. But think about the economics for a moment. A plumber cannot bill you for a sandwich bag. A call-out costs you $150 before he has even looked at anything. And the easiest, most profitable visit in his week is one where he unscrews your crusty shower head, screws on a new $40 one marked up to $90, and is back in his van in 15 minutes. And the manufacturers are even further ahead of you. That high-pressure shower head on the shelf, in many cases, is largely an ordinary shower head with clean, well-designed nozzles, being compared in your mind against your clogged one. Of course it feels stronger. Your old one would feel stronger too, after a night in a bag of vinegar. There is no company anywhere that profits from a $3 jug of vinegar solving an $80 problem, so there is no advertisement for it, and there never will be. In the hotel, we bought white vinegar in bulk, drums of it, because it descaled the shower heads, the taps, the kettles in every room, and the dishwashers in the back of house. One chemical, pennies a use, no fumes, food safe. The single most useful liquid in the entire building, and the least glamorous thing in the supply room. And once you see it, you will start using this everywhere, so let me hand you the rest of the system. Your kitchen faucet has a little screen on the tip called an aerator, and when your kitchen stream starts spraying crooked, that is the same stone in the same place. Most aerators unscrew by hand, counterclockwise, and you just drop the whole tip in a cup of vinegar for a couple of hours and screw it back on. Your kettle, if you can hear it getting louder and slower, has a layer of the same stone on its element, and a half and half mix of vinegar and water, boiled once and left to sit, strips it clean, then rinse it well. The white crust on your bathroom taps and around the base of the faucet, same enemy, and a paper towel soaked in vinegar, pressed onto the crust and left there for an hour, dissolves what no amount of scrubbing ever touched. It is all one problem, and it has all been one answer for over 100 years. So here is your routine, the one that means you never do a heroic overnight rescue again. Once every couple of months, hang the bag for 2 hours while you do something else. That is the entire maintenance plan for every shower in your house, for about $1 a time. My grandmother had a saying about this kind of thing, and it is the whole philosophy of this channel. You do not wait for a thing to fail and then fight it. You care for it a little, regularly, because it serves you every day. Do it once, do it properly, then it stays done. So tonight before bed, sandwich bag, white vinegar, rubber band, 2 minutes of your time. And tomorrow morning, step into that shower and feel what you have been missing for 2 years, then come tell me about it in the comments, because I want to know 2 things. Do you have hard water where you live, and how bad was the crust when you finally looked closely at that shower head? Some of the before and after stories you all tell me are better than my videos. And if your mother or grandmother had her own descaling trick, an old family method, write it down there. I read every single comment. Next time, I am going to take on the air freshener aisle, the plugins, the sprays, the $25 candles, and show you the $2 trick on your stove that makes your whole house smell like a luxury hotel lobby, because I ran one and I know exactly what that smell really is and what it costs. Subscribe so you do not miss it. I am Ken Sato. Do it once, do it properly, then it stays done. I will see you in the next one.